Now, this table actually combines two of the tools. One is considering higher order effects, which is thinking about the consequences of the action. We'll go into that more as I fill out this table. And then the second tool is what would you bet? So the idea is once you look at all these consequences of consequences, which ones would you be not willing to bet on? Because even in thought experiments where you're betting imaginary money on an outcome, it can actually force us to think about, for example, I might not be willing to bet on the book making 100 times the sales on Audible compared with Gumroad, for example. So this should all be clear once the table's filled out. It's a little bit of an abstract concept to get initially, but let's try and make this more concrete by filling this out. So one option is publish on Audible. And I usually leave a few cells here. So the other one is don't publish on Audible. I'll say ever, just to differentiate it from this one, which is indie release first. I'll say Gumroad release first, actually. Then Audible. Yeah, I'll say something like that. Okay. So let's think about the first order effect. So you publish on Audible, might benefit from high discoverability. And book is huge as a result. Or the book isn't huge. Makes no difference to book reputation. And authority, say. And so, of the book becoming an authority, might get a lot more clients, and I might get a lot more revenue. And so it makes no difference to the book reputation. So chances are it will be no difference to the clients coming in. And I'm just going to say no difference to number of clients / revenue. And what else? This can be a little bit hard to come up with, so sometimes I like to just take a look through here. Okay, so some other effects might come to mind as I go through this. So as you can see, it's not a very linear process. There's quite a bit of entering some stuff in, then coming back, and then refining, and then so on. And I find it a great tool for thinking because often our brains don't work in a linear way like that. They are kind of circular and iterative. So don't publish on Audible ever. So I think it'll probably be lower discoverability. And as a result, would I say that it would harm the book's reputation? Yeah, I think this is a bit of a tough one to work through. And my brain's a bit frozen on this one at the moment. So I'm just going to go to Gumroad release first, then Audible. So first order effect, get it out on anniversary of ebook. More sales and interest than if related. More leads for the business. More revenue. So instead of saying a lot more up here, I'll just make sure it's like apples to apples. So I'll just say more revenue. More leads. Let's see where we go with that. Gumroad leads first and Audible. There is a chance that miss out on higher discoverability. There's also a chance that because it's not on Audible, that people might look at it. First impression of book is diminished. I'm just going to write a note here. As less authoritative because it's not on Audible. Some people might see me as less authoritative because I can't spell authoritative. This hurts or decreases sales in audiobook and perhaps the ebook. I think that's probably enough, like considering the higher order effects. As we go through, there might be other stuff that comes up. Let me show you how the what would you bet part plays into this. So I look at these different effects, mainly whatever the last order effect is here, so the third order effect, and I think, would I be willing to bet on this chain happening? So let's see. In terms of thinking about if I publish on Audible and I get higher discoverability, the book becomes an authority and I get more leads. That seems quite likely, right? So I'll keep that in there. More revenue. It's probably not going to be a significant amount more revenue just because the book, it's a very low ticket item. The ebook is like $5 Australian. The audiobook is $9.99. So yeah, it's not gonna make a huge difference to the bank balance. It makes no difference to book reputation. If I publish on Audible, it makes no difference. I'd probably bet against that even. Like I'd probably say publishing on Audible would increase the book's reputation because I think people look at Audible and they're like, oh, he's got a book on Audible. So hey, even I do that, and yeah, I'm a self-published author, and so I know that, like, and I kind of know that all it takes to get published on Amazon, any of the Amazon platforms, is basically like a laptop and an internet connection, right? So I know it is, even with that knowledge in mind, I still kind of I can still look at Audible and be like, huh, that guy's got a book on Audible. So it's interesting the way the brain works like that, right? So don't publish on Audible ever. So that will result in a lower discoverability and harm the book's reputation. So I think there's a possibility of that, and I wouldn't bet against it because Amazon is a very powerful platform, and to bet against the benefits of publishing on there is to bet against Amazon, I guess. I'm not willing to do that. And then there's the Gumroad release first, then Audible. So first order effect, I get it out on the anniversary of the ebook, which is November 2023. Get it out on the anniversary, and as a result, it gives a good talking point about it. More sales and interest than if I had waited for maybe Christmas and it gets lost underneath all the Christmas sales and stuff. So that might be useful. And so if I get more sales, it might mean more leads for the business. It might mean more revenue. Similar to these reasons above here. In terms of waiting first, I might miss out on higher discoverability. There's always a chance of that happening, so I'm not willing to bet against that. It's also difficult to say whether I'll be right or wrong by waiting because I can't. There's no parallel universe. Well, I don't have access to the parallel universe where I decided to release on Audible first, so it's kind of difficult to compare there. But it is nice to have these options out in front. The first impression of the book is diminished if they see the release on Gumroad first versus Audible. That's always the case. However, the people that I'm selling the book to, at least in the beginning, are people that know me already, and so we already have a sense of rapport. I'm not sure if I think it will be only a very small number of people that I send the book to initially that will get put off by the idea that I'm not on Audible yet. And the fact that I say, hey, like if you're more comfortable with Audible, then let me know. If there's enough demand, I'll push an Audible release as well. So I think that's all fairly well taken care of. And so I would probably say I'll probably rule this out. Okay. So taken together, what I'm left with are a bunch of higher order effects that I think are likely or that I'm not willing to bet against. And so if I publish on Audible, I think I'll get high discoverability. The book becomes an authority. I'll get more leads and more revenue. If I don't ever publish on Audible, then I'll probably get lower discoverability. It might harm the book's reputation, although I think I'll probably, that's if I don't publish on Audible ever. So if I don't publish on Audible ever, then I'll probably get low discoverability. I'll probably harm the book's reputation. It probably suggests that don't publish on Audible ever might be a non-starter, as in I should always be considering publishing on Audible at some date. And so then we come to Gumroad release first and then Audible. The first order consequence, get it out on the anniversary of the ebook. Might get more sales and interest than if I wanted, more leads for the business, more revenue. I might miss out on high discoverability by not going Audible first, but I think that's outweighed by just getting it out there, given the time of the year as well, close to Christmas, just before the Christmas rush, but not quite in there. I think the timing is good there, and as you can see, I've ruled out. I'm not willing to bet on the idea that the first impression of the book is diminished. I should probably say significantly diminished, because it might get slightly diminished. And that's mitigated by the fact that, hey, I might do an Audible release if there's demand for it. So I'm not necessarily ruling anyone out there. Yeah, if you want to neaten up the table, you can always delete these rows. You can always delete these rows. So that's a little bit nicer for me to look at whenever I come back to review this.
If you enjoyed this video, you may also enjoy this playlist. Here, I break down my entire decision-making process. To make it concrete, I use my decision on whether to publish on Audible as an example. Just click here to view the playlist, or click here to skip to the meat of how I make the decision. Thanks for watching, and here's to living with less anxiety and fewer regrets.